Berserk is truly a manga unlike any other. The kind of story that generally seems to have a profound impact on its readers, not just for the entertainment value, but resonates in a way that we can somehow take a story in a dark fantasy setting and reflect it into our own lives. That there are real-world truths and ideas that are so deeply woven within this story that it can do more than just be some drawings or words on a piece of paper. It's a manga that can make us think, inspire us, and even help us overcome our own demons and darkness. I've always thought fiction and storytelling in general was important for these reasons, for the inspiration that they can give us, but Berserk seems to be one of those stories that just hits deeper than many of the others are able to. I think part of the reason for this is just how unafraid Kentaro Miura was at examining these adult themes through such an unfiltered lens. Sure, Berserk is known for being dark, violent, and traumatizing, but so is life. Miura uses these extreme and demonic situations to tell an exaggerated version of what we really experience as people. A character like Guts only comes around every once in a blue moon, a character that fully exemplifies the human condition, and who over the course of the manga has experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows. That depending on which point in the manga that you're reading, he's essentially several different characters, and yet it's all Guts. Because a human life is filled with evolution, contradictions, and rises and falls. At one point, Guts may be a kind, compassionate leader, and other times he's thrown everything away and couldn't care less even about his own life. Sometimes he's vowed for revenge, and sometimes he's like a frightened child. Sometimes putting his ideals before everything else, and other times willingly choosing to not pursue his dream to help the woman that he loves. One question I get a lot is for recommendations of manga similar to Berserk, and from everything that I've read, I can give you manga with similar action and demonic violence. I can give you manga that also has themes of vengeance and struggle. I can give you a manga with love stories, but nothing, and I mean nothing, will fill the void, no pun intended, of what Berserk is and stands for. So with that, I did a little reflecting, and after getting asked this question by a subscriber on my last live stream, I did a little bit more thinking on the topic, and I wanted to come up with my top 3 life lessons that Berserk taught me, or at least lessons that I think fully solidified in my mind while reading Guts and his experiences. So without further ado, let's discuss them. And real quick, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you decided to, if you hit the subscribe button and the like button, because that would help me out tremendously. Would really appreciate it if you did. Lesson number 1. Even if we painstakingly try to put things back together, they won't be the way they were before. This is a quote from the final page of the chapter Bubbles of Futility from Guts, all stemming from a moment where Casca is about to fall from Roderick's ship, and Guts instinctively holds his arm out to catch her, but he holds out his left arm, which is no longer there, but replaced with a mechanical one. He cannot grip her, and so she falls into the ocean. This moment was a physical representation of this truth. Guts' whole mission at this point is getting Casca to Elfhelm for simply the chance of healing her mind, but no guarantees. And even so, what happens then? Casca has been through so much since the eclipse, and so has Guts. There is no way that it is even conceivably possible for the two of them to just pick up where they left off. Too much time has passed, and they have become different people. There is so much more story here, not to mention Guts' brief moment of darkness against her, and Guts is clinging on to that memory of the past, of the way they were, the vision of that golden age in time when things were good. But after things are broken, you can never put them back together like the way they were before. The ripple effect from the trauma will always be there. Life lesson here is truly that once something is gone, it is gone. Just like Guts' arm and that moment of thinking that it was there and the brutal reality check that it wasn't. You can try to put the pieces back together the best you can, but if you crumple up a piece of paper and try to smooth it out, whatever it is, it's never going to be the same. It will have to be new and evolve into something that's within the present moment, because once a moment is gone, it's gone. Lesson number 2. There is no paradise for you to escape to. When Jill begs and pleads for Guts to take her with him, away from the horrors of her village, the pain and the abuse that's there, Guts, even in his most monstrous form, seemed like a beacon of hope for her. But Guts tells her to look around, to see the demons and darkness that surround him, that are constantly with him. Everyone has pain, and everyone has suffering. We all want to believe that the grass is greener on the other side, that there is some misty valley of peace that we will reach someday, and that will seem like a fairy tale, and all the darkness will go away. But Jill's story is a tragic coming-of-age one, an understanding that the world, no matter where you are, is harsh, it is cruel, and will be a battle. She would be trading one hell for another, and the truth is, there is no paradise for us to escape to. We will always be facing darkness in our own personal hells. We will always fall into situations where we feel helpless, and we will always have our own battles to face. Jill has her hell, and Guts has his, but it is better for Jill to face her own than to simply fall into another. It makes me feel like we are all individually fighting against the darkness, and at the end of the day, you likely wouldn't trade yours for another's. Everyone's life is different, and we all face different demons, and it's not like you can't ask for help, but the point is that we believe there will be some savior from it, something to pull us out and whisk us away into a fairy tale land, and there isn't. We have to do it ourselves, and we have to get stronger and overcome. We can't escape it, but we have to face it. And lesson number 3, struggle, endure, contend, for this is the sword of one who defies death. Skull Knight says this, but it fits Guts' character perfectly. Almost branching off lesson 2, it's understanding that we have 2 choices in this life. We can roll over and let it defeat us, or we can stand up and keep struggling for as long as possible. Even if the only reason is just to spite fate, that's enough. That even if causality is true and there is a 99.9% likelihood that you should just give up, to be that fish that breaches the water's surface and creates a ripple, say fuck you to fate and fight back. And that continuing to fight is more important than even winning the fight. One of my favorite scenes is Guts as a child when he falls into the valley after being struck with an arrow and he gazes up at the full moon. This moment is one where he would be perfectly within his right to just die. No family, no friends, betrayed by his father figure, a child that was never meant to be born in the first place. Guts is the opposite of the special or chosen one trope. Nobody would blame him or care if he just died here. The wolves surround him, ready to feast. But Guts stands the fuck back up. Something within him absolutely refuses to let himself die. That indomitable human will. And this isn't the only time. Over and over again, Guts is in positions where he could, or maybe even would be better off just dying. But he refuses to let that be an option. And by staying alive, he not only continues to evolve and grow as a person, especially becoming more compassionate and being a leadership figure, but he also makes incredibly strong positive impacts on others, breaking Farnese out of her shell and leading towards her true purpose in life, giving Isidro somebody to look up to, helping Shirake when her mistress died, and of course, never giving up on Casca and getting her the help that she needed. None of this would be possible without Guts. So much good came from Guts not allowing himself to die. So, when things are hard in your life, please, and I mean this sincerely, please think of Guts. Never allow life and fate to tell you your place. Never just accept defeat and give up. Please keep going no matter what. As long as there is blood in your veins, breath in your lungs, whether you are branded for death, you've lost some limbs or an eye, just keep going. If Guts would have given up, so many people would be worse off than they are now, and the same can be true with you. Struggle, endure, contend. That alone is the sword of one who defies death. So, if Berserk has touched or motivated you in some way, what are some life lessons, either inspirational or just some hard truths, that you have taken with you into your own life? I'd be really curious to see what moments or scenes affected the Berserk audience as a whole, so put all of that down in the comments below and let's discuss it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe if you want to, as all interaction with the video will help me out. Also, check the links in the description below for my Patreon and merch store if you want to support the channel on that extra level, as well as all the various social media links where you can find me. Other than that, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time.